Hey technicians from Leaders Beverage, it's Jen from DraftLine, and today I'm going to walk you through a quick tutorial about the unique way that we're going to use the DraftLine SmartSystem mobile application for the technicians at Leaders Beverage. So the first thing that we're going to do is go through what we're going to call the outpost call. So the outpost is going to help us track hours for your time. And the way we will use this is every day, if you are starting your day, you're going to check into this trip. If you're driving to, headquarters, your day doesn't start until you actually get to headquarters. However, if you are in your vehicle and headed to a location for service or line cleaning or installation, you're going to use this as your time clock. So you're going to go to the outpost trip, and we'll have an image in there later, and you are going to navigate the app from the bottom of the screen, and you're going to go to tasks. And the first thing we're going to have you do to start your time clock is hit this green circle, and that's going to check you in. Now, throughout the day, if you have to pick up, supplies and different things, we are going to be entering those down the road through this expenses tab at the far right, and you're going to hit the plus sign, and you're going to be able to enter into these categories. However, we're not going to start that for a few days, probably until later into next week when I believe it was Steve. No, it's not Steve. It's one of the other technicians who's going to test that out for us. So for right now, the outpost is for your daily time clock. So once you're checked into the outpost, you're off and running. Then you're going to stay checked in through the outpost throughout the day until your final checkout. So we'll go through a line cleaning, and then I will show you how to go back to the outpost call and check out for the day. So once you get to Half Acre Beer, you're going to see your overview page. Martin, of course, is the foreman on this particular job. You can get directed. It tells you the optimal time for the line cleaning to be done. So August 22nd between 10 and 1. And it tells you the route as well and what type of service it is. So eventually we'll get into service trips, but for the purpose of this week and the test on our workflow, this is all going to be line cleaning trips. So again, we're going to navigate from the bottom of the screen and hit the tasks bar. Because we're associated with a chemical manufacturer, you're always going to see your safety first guidelines, and I always want you guys using your goggles and your gloves. So that's why that's there first. Now, once we get into the line cleaning process, we're going to check on line and also faucet. But once we hit the parking lot for Half Acre Beer Co., before you unload your stuff, that's when we want you to check into this trip, because that gives us a really good time accounting, and we have some really cool reports that down the road you guys are going to love, because they're verifying all the wonderful things you're doing at Leaders Beverage for all of your subscribers. So we want to make sure that the time is reflected very accurately. So once you're checked in at the location, you are going to put your phone away, you go in and you perform the service. And it would be very simple to track everything that you're doing in regards to the service after the line cleaning's done, or say while the faucets are still soaking, and you can kind of go through and enter all of your data. It should take you about 25 seconds start to finish. Now, for line cleaning, the first 4 steps, whether it's static or recirculation, are always regular maintenance. Now, because you guys are so advanced, you're almost always using a recirculation pump, and only when it's actually the acid cycle are you going to take acid. Obviously, that's only 4 times a year, barring any unforeseen circumstances. So typically, you're just going to have regular maintenance and recirculation, and you're going to verify that you did that. You're going to check the green box. That's going to pop you back to your task overview page. This is almost always going to say partially completed. That's because you didn't click the acid box. This is just a visual indicator for you as a technician to know that you went in and you did most of those checklists. It should say partially completed, and that's totally fine. Now, when we go to faucet, again, Leaders Beverage, when they go into a location, they are cleaning everything. So we're going to verify that all the faucets were serviced. And you should always see that that's completed in that section. But if it's not for some reason, we can revisit that later. So that's your tasks. That's taken care of. Now, if you need to communicate to Steve or whomever, Kevin, back on the dashboard, this is where we will enter our notes. That will also filter to a line cleaning trips notes report, and we also have a service trips notes report. This is where we like all of our notes from our technicians out in the field because we are monitoring this every single day. Also, photos can be added. If you are in a walk-in cooler, it's called a Faraday cage. I'm sure Drew knows this because he knows just about everything. You're going to lose signal. But if you need to take a photo, you can do that on your camera roll and choose the photo later and add it to the trip. We will then have that as a record. If you are repeatedly finding something that is causing a problem, I highly recommend you take the photos. If you're not seeing signatures where you're asking your customer to verify that they have visually checked certain things, that's where you would take a photo and add it to the trip. System, you guys don't need to worry about because you're not making any modifications here or tracking brands. If you were, you could track brands this way, but Leaders Beverage doesn't worry about that. Again, back to the expenses page, and we're not going to typically be doing this for line cleaning as of this week. This is where you can add parts and different things to the trip. So for right now, that's pretty much it. We're going to grab a signature, and actually, I'm going to check out. I'm going to verify that this line cleaning was completed, and then we are going to grab the signature. So on iOS, we have to check out, then we can grab the signature, type in the name, success, and they sign at the bottom. And that's it. Click and verify that you're done. And that's going to pop you back to the overview page. Now, one thing I did forget to go over on the outpost call, and this is going to be very important. And this is another key. Once you leave a trip and go back to it on the app, you can always make modifications to that without checking in and out. And that becomes very important. So you can add expenses. And in regard to the outpost trip, what we forgot to do was add our starting mileage. So when you check in and you're on the clock, we want your starting mileage for the day. So let's do 22,252, save. And at the end of the day, when we go to check out, we're going to enter our ending mileage. And Kevin has some ideas for reports we can pull to help you guys keep track of everything and go for reimbursements. So then again, at the end of the day, let's say we drove, 100 miles. Save. And that's it. So we've got our distance tracked. Again, in another week or so, as we get into the SKU numbers and all those things, we'll look to this trip to add different parts that we're taking for jobs, and we're going to stack them all in the outpost. But for right now, outpost is first check-in, last checkout, your beginning mileage, your ending mileage. And that's really it. So at the end of the day, hopefully we're going to have a bunch of green circles with check boxes. That indicates that those trips are complete. So after you've gone through your route for the day, entered the mileage, we want to make sure we check out of our outpost. And we are going to say completed. And again, that's going to pop us back to the overview page. Hopefully update here in a second. There we go. And your day is done. So every day moving forward, first check in at the outpost, input your mileage. Then you go about your route. And after your day is complete, you're going to go back to the outpost and check out. So I hope that's clear. If you guys have any questions, Rebecca and I are here to support you on the cloud. Steve, I think, has a really good understanding and has put a lot of time into how we can make this easy for our technicians. If there's anything you need, you know where to find us. So good luck, and we'll be talking soon. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.